A local mother tells me she's trapped in a medical nightmare. After successfully using IVF 6 years ago to conceive a little girl, she returned to the same doctor. This time, though, she says a horrifying mix-up and cover-up happened.
We went there to have a baby, not to kill a baby.
Melissa Pineda and her husband David have 3 children and wanted a 4th, so they went to the Pacific Reproductive Center in Torrance for in vitro fertilization. Instead of leaving with a new addition to the family, they're suing their fertility doctor after they say he implanted Melissa with the wrong embryo.
I couldn't sleep for months, and all I did was say to myself, they had to belong to someone. They had to belong to someone. Whose babies were they?
The Pinedas started an IVF cycle with Dr. Rifaat Salem in December of 2013. 2 months later, on Friday, February 7th, they had the embryo implanted. Melissa was supposed to stay on bed rest, but got a call from the doctor 2 days later asking her to come into the office immediately, even though it was a Sunday. That's when a lab technician gave her shocking news.
She said, I arrived at the lab on Saturday and I went to check on your remaining embryos because we transferred 3, so we still should have had, I think, 11. She said all 14 were still on your dish.
Melissa says there was no further explanation, but Dr. Salem told her he wanted to check things out and make sure everything was okay. Before long, she was lying down in the middle of a life-changing procedure.
All of a sudden, I started to feel lots of pain.
She says she later learned Dr. Salem had terminated the pregnancy.
Actually, she underwent a DNC, which is essentially an abortion. And they aborted this child, which the mother would never have agreed to.
Malpractice attorney Neil Howard is representing the Pinedas.
To do any type of procedure without the consent of the patient would be illegal. A consent has to be signed. Well, that didn't happen in this case.
One of Dr. Salem's nurses admitted in a sworn deposition the consent was not signed until after the procedure. Melissa says she was sent home and told to return the next day for a shot to stop the bleeding. That shot was actually methotrexate, a chemical abortion.
There's no question in my mind that this was a viable, healthy pregnancy that he wanted to make sure that did not continue. So that's why he did 2 things. He did a surgical abortion and a chemical abortion. He wanted to be 1,000,000,000% sure that this baby did not go to full term.
The Pinedas say they would have never agreed to terminate the pregnancy.
What if we did have a viable baby that was going to be born and, you know, we should have a little kid running around now and we don't because of the fact of what he did? That's the hard part, and that will never be replaced. The moments and the happiness with this child that we wanted, and it's not there now.
How do we know what he put inside of me, what the story is behind those babies? Whose ever embryos that he killed, those people need to know. The truth needs to come out.
I've made numerous attempts to speak with Dr. Salem and his attorney, but haven't heard back. The attorney for the Pineda family tells me Dr. Salem says there was consent for that DNC procedure. The case is scheduled to go to trial in August, and we will certainly keep you posted on this KTLA exclusive.